They thought Ukraine would fall in 72 hours. A lightning invasion, tanks rolling across the border, the capital surrounded, the government replaced, the world held its breath. But something happened that no analyst, no general, no dictator saw coming. The people stood up, not just soldiers, but bakers, students, poets, engineers. People who had never touched a weapon, suddenly defending bridges with sandbags and steel. They didn't ask for this war, but they refused to run from it. And in that moment, Ukraine stopped being a place on the map. It became an idea that freedom can't be crushed by tanks, that identity can't be rewritten by force, that the will of a people is more dangerous than any missile. Cities burned, families were torn apart, but something ancient woke up beneath the rubble. From Kyiv to Kharkiv, from Lviv to Bakhmut, they whispered the same words: we are still here, not just surviving, resisting, not just defending land, defending the right to exist. While the enemy brought fire from the sky, Ukraine answered with fire from within. A fire that does not die, a fire that spreads. Every broken building becomes a monument, every fallen soldier, a chapter in a new history. This war isn't about borders, it's about the soul of a nation. And the world is watching who blinks first. If this voice deserves to be heard, comment "We stand with Ukraine" below and subscribe for more frontline truth. Before the war, they were cities like any other, apartments filled with laughter, schools echoing with children's voices, parks, trains, late-night cafes. Now, concrete skeletons, shattered windows, roads carved open by artillery. Mariupol, Severodonetsk, Bakhmut. Their names used to mean home. Now they mean resistance. These cities didn't collapse. They transformed into walls of defiance, into traps of fire, into graveyards for invading machines. Every street became a front line. Every building, a sniper's perch. Every basement, a bunker. Civilians stayed. Some because they had nowhere to go. Others because they refused to leave the place they built with their own hands. Under missile strikes, they brewed tea. In the flicker of candlelight, they whispered lullabies. And when the bombs stopped falling, they swept the rubble, salvaged bricks, planted flags. What do you do when the enemy brings steel and fire? You answer with something they can't destroy. Courage, memory, purpose. Ukraine doesn't fight because it has no choice. Ukraine fights because it has every reason. Because this is not just about territory, it's about dignity. It's about proving to history that small nations don't kneel. And the skies are no longer safe. Once they were blue, then filled with rockets. Now they hum with vengeance. Ukrainian drones slicing silently through darkness. Eyes in the night. Precision in every strike. The invader rolls in with noise and pride, but it leaves in smoke. These cities are not dead, they are forged, hardened, tempered by loss. They are not ruins, they are reminders of what happens when you try to erase a people and fail. Still think this is just a regional conflict? Comment below. Let them know the world still sees. In this war, silence kills. Not the roar of jets, not the clash of tanks, but the cold, mechanical hum of something unseen. Something that doesn't blink, doesn't breathe, doesn't miss. Drones, the new face of modern combat. Once tools for surveillance, now precision assassins. Ukraine didn't have a massive air force, but it had engineers, hackers, gamers, mechanics, and most of all, urgency. From barns and basements, a new arsenal was born. Civilian drones retrofitted with grenades. Racing drones turned into flying IEDs. Software written in candlelit bunkers. They learned faster than the textbooks. Every Russian tank became a moving target. Every armored column, a line of vulnerable dots on a screen. No convoy was safe. Not at night, not in fog, not under cloud cover. Because these drones didn't hunt like machines. They hunted like wolves, quiet, patient, coordinated. One would hover, scouting, another would mark, and a third would descend. Fast, sharp, final. No warning, no mercy. Russian soldiers started aiming at the sky instead of the enemy. They built cages on tanks. They jammed signals. But the swarm kept coming, because this wasn't just about hardware. It was about imagination. An imagination in the hands of people fighting for survival is more lethal than any billion-dollar missile. Ukraine made the skies its territory, not with dominance, but with disruption. A new kind of warfare was born, asymmetrical, unpredictable, terrifying. Now, every commander must ask, is that noise in the sky a bird, or is it my end? In these drone wars, there are no sirens, no alarms, only that single cold moment when the sky decides your fate. This is not the future of war. This is war now. And Ukraine, underestimated, outnumbered, has become its unlikely master. If you believe innovation can beat invasion, drop a comment, subscribe, stay sharp. Every war has a front, a visible line, a battlefield. But this war, this one is different, because the real front isn't drawn on a map. It runs through every home, every family, every soul that refuses to surrender. It's not just in trenches or sniper nests. It's in the baker who opens his shop after a bombing, in the medic who runs toward the blast, not away from it. It's in a mother who whispers to her child, "Don't be afraid, we are still here." That's the line Russia couldn't break. Not with tanks, not with missiles, not with propaganda. Because Ukraine is not fighting for conquest. It is fighting for memory. For the memory of grandparents who survived the Holodomor. For the memory of cities erased from textbooks. For the songs that were once banned. For the language they tried to silence. It's not about NATO, not about politics. It's about a grave in a backyard, about a name carved into a wall. It's about a kid in a broken apartment, watching a drone fly overhead and knowing that someone, somewhere, still believes in them. Ukraine has paid the price 1,000 times over, in lost towns, in empty chairs at dinner tables, in the weight behind every smile. But even now, after all of it, there is no surrender. Soldiers still dig in, volunteers still rebuild, drones still fly, and across the ruined cities, blue and yellow flags still wave, torn, faded, but unfallen. Because there are two kinds of strength, one that conquers and one that endures. Ukraine chose the second, and that is why it cannot be defeated. The line has not broken, not in Bucha, not in Kherson, not in Avdiivka, and it won't break in the days ahead. Because this line isn't made of borders. It's made of people, of fire, of memory, of defiance. And as long as one voice remains to say, we are still here, this war is not over. It is only being written. If this story moved you, share it. Let their courage echo further than the bombs ever could.